Hey people, it is Thursday, September the 12th. The time is 4:40 in the afternoon. It's about 24 degrees Celsius. We're having a little spurt of very warm weather here in the later stages of summer. Summer is not over with us yet. I'm on Eglinton Avenue West, looking east. And I'm going to head over to Avenue Road, a bit further east from here. I want to take a look at a house on Avenue Road that is well known for fans of Canadian comedy history. Speaking about the SCTV show that was on Canadian TV in the 1970s and 80s. And there's a house on Avenue Road where various members of SCTV all live together. So we'll take a look at that house, and then I'll make my way into the heart of the Yonge and Eglinton neighborhood, which you can see right up ahead there, to an apartment building that was featured in the opening credits of the SCTV TV show. You might remember at the beginning of that TV show, there's a high-rise apartment building where they're throwing TV sets off of one of the balconies. Well, that building is in this very neighborhood, close to the house that the cast members all lived in. So this is a bit of an SCTV history tour here in Midtown Toronto. And that apartment building is on Roehampton Avenue. So we're at the corner of Avenue Road and Eglinton. I don't often get over to this part of town. I do get to Yonge and Eglinton fairly frequently, I suppose, but not often over onto Avenue Road in Eglinton. And 1063, this is it. So I think once upon a time, Eugene Levy lived here. John Candy. Just name off various SCTV cast members, and some of them all lived in here together, or if they didn't live here together, they would all hang out here together, writing sketches for the show. So lots of very famous people spent a lot of time in this house. Of course, many of them went on after SCTV to be movie stars in comedies, Hollywood movie stars. So like a who's who of 80s comedy actors, really. Started off at SCTV. In addition to John Candy, Eugene Levy, there's also names like Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, Gilda Radner. Avenue Road is very busy here, but we're going to head east now towards the Yonge and Eglinton neighborhood. I think there's some side streets over here that'll take us through Eglinton Park. Here's another famous Toronto personality, Marshall McLuhan, Catholic Secondary School. He was also a resident of Toronto for many years. He coined the famous expression, "The medium is the message." He was a professor at University of Toronto. Yeah, a nice view of all the towers over at the Yonge and Eglinton intersection.
And I get to see them tonight.
Oh yeah.
I think it's, I don't think there's a lot of
All right, let's head along Roselawn here. Get a look at some of the neighborhoods. This is quite a well-off area here. This is obviously a bit of a route for local traffic.
but by naming himself Midtown.
Something like fires?
And school is letting out. I guess it's past the time where it's letting out, but lots of kids are still making their way around the area. So it's like a mix of semi-detached houses and some fully detached. Still a fairly old neighborhood. Not as old, obviously, as closer to downtown, but probably upwards of 100 years old. There's Eglinton Park. It's funny how big some of these semi-detached houses are. That's a big size house on its own if it was a fully detached house, but it's attached to its just as big neighbor here.
Yeah, last time I
Looks like one side of this semi-detached is getting a complete do-over. Completely gutted. Here's a more modern edition. It's like stacked townhouses. And we're almost at Yonge Street. See the buildings looming above these low-rise areas. If you look at an aerial photograph of Yonge and Eglinton, it's quite a dramatic outcropping of density. It just rises up in the middle of a sea of low-rise residential neighborhoods, largely due to the subway line. At various major intersections along the subway line, they were designed to be built out as high-density areas or outlying business districts even, such as the case with Yonge and Eglinton. It has major office buildings, tons of retail restaurants, and oodles of high-rise apartments and condominiums. It's basically like a downtown all on its own for people who live in this area. You don't really need to go all the way to the actual downtown Toronto. They can do most of their business and errands right here. I'm not sure if these houses are going to be demolished or not. There's a major development going up right next door. All of a sudden there's like a major skyline just appearing out of nowhere. Oh, within view of these older houses. I think this area first started growing up in this vertical fashion in the late 1950s and continued through the 60s and 70s. And then a new wave of residential towers started springing up, further densifying it in the 2000s and especially through the 2010s and continuing to present day.
Whatever.
And here's Yonge Street. Very busy all through here. Well, let's see if we can get across here. Might have to head down to the intersection if it takes too long. They're saying there's no point in trying to cross here. We'll be waiting forever. You might as well go to the light. They're probably right. It's pretty ridiculous. Even with the light, you're still waiting a long time.
I don't care.
There's Erskine. We're going to head to Roehampton. Got an awesome mix of retail and restaurants here. Definitely a different vibe though than in downtown Toronto. I think Yonge and Eglinton has its own personality, a bit different. It has that Popeyes. Tiger Sugar, bubble tea. Right, now here is Broadway. Not the Broadway, but a Broadway. See tons of new towers popping up all around the area. I think the dueling Dollaramas are here. You have a Dollarama across the street right there. And I think there's one right over here as well. There it is. How many Dollaramas do you need? At least you don't have to try and cross busy Yonge Street, I guess, if you live on one side or the other. And here is a look at the CN Tower, looking straight south here on Yonge Street. Not sure how well it's showing up on camera, but you can see it very clearly from here out in the real world. Here is Roehampton. See all these newer glassy residential towers mixed in with the older ones that are usually more slab-like and brick in build. Those are the 1950s and 60s ones. And even a few older walk-up apartment buildings from 100 years ago or so. The building that the SCTV TV sets were thrown off of is an older one, I think from the 1960s. And that's it right there. With its towering new neighbors going up all around it. Another old beside new. This is 100 Roehampton. I think it recently got a bit of a renovation where they redid the balconies, so it might look a bit different now than it did before, but that's the building. I'm not exactly sure which balcony they're throwing the TVs off. It was one near the top there, around the center of the building. But I'm sure you're all familiar. For those who have seen the show, you can just sort of picture all the TV sets flying down there and landing on the grass or the sidewalk down below. So that wraps up my little SCTV history walk here in Midtown. We started off at Avenue Road, where I showed the old house. That was once home to various cast members of SCTV. And where they tossed the TVs. So I hope you enjoyed. All fans of Canadian comedy, or just fans of Toronto in general, leave a comment down below and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And also make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. Or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member, or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue.